All right. This is the exact model, and where can I get one? You can buy the parts and get it. Oh, let's see who all shows up in here. Let's refresh this. What's going on, Jake? Do. Let's see. Should this? Looks like everything's going okay. This is better than Tom's build because I plan on doing everything exactly as Prusa did. He did the cheapest Mark II clone, I think he did. I am doing an exact Mark III clone with all my own sourced parts. So from the frame to the bed, power supply, my own 3D printed parts, everything is of my own making. And procurement, I should say. It is not anything I designed. Okay, this is the Prusa, original Prusa i3 Mark III, which I have right here. These are the parts for me to clone it. So I am grabbing all the parts from it, and yeah, it should be pretty good. I think I have all the parts here that I need for it. Guess we're gonna find out. Let me double check here real quick. So. So these rods, I have all the parts here in front of me. So I have everything arranged in a particular way, and I have the baggies of everything. Actually, you know what? I just forgot. I didn't cut the rods. Shoot! This might be a false alarm, guys. I didn't cut the... I only have the 2 rods here. Shoot. Which rods do I have? So I have the manual up here. Let me see which rods I need, because I can get through a good portion of it, but let's see, which ones do I need here? Okay, so we're going to call this part 1, because I can at least get the frame assembled, and I can get the Y done, but the X and Z that I have from my Prusa clone, which is the i3 aluminum from G-Tech, the i3 clone, those rods are too long, so I have to cut those down. I totally forgot I didn't cut those down yet, but we're going to at least do the Y and get started today. So talk a little bit about this. So this build, firstly, is greatly helped out by Protopasta. Protopasta provided their candy apple red filament, their PLA, for me to print all the parts in. Most of the hardware is coming out of my Prusa i3 aluminum made by G-Tech, which is my very first 3D printer that I upgraded for years. There's tons of videos on what I did on that printer. So that all the hardware was taken out of that and put into this. Then I went on to AliExpress and eBay and sourced all the other parts myself individually. Some are original parts, like from the manufacturer. Some are clones. So the board is a clone. The heated bed here is a direct clone of the Prusa Mark III bed. The heated bed portion, I did buy a clone spring steel sheet. It sucks. It's not spring steel. It doesn't spring at all. It just bends. So that was a waste at $11. I will go ahead and use some of my actual spring steel sheets from the Mark III for this printer. The frame I bought out of the UK. There's a guy there who was milling them, and it actually is a really nice bed, or a really nice frame. So everything is, the milled powder coated aluminum. The 3030 is powder coated. The bed is, everything is as it should be for this build. So let's just make sure everything here looks okay. Holy heck. Okay, so somebody said about the MMU 2.0. So I am also going to, once I get this up and running and I know this works well, I still have not received my actual MMU 2 from Prusa. Apparently they are delayed. It was supposed to ship mid-December. I still have not received an update from Prusa on when it's going to ship. So that's, you know, my $350 out there sitting waiting for that to ship. And I'm probably going to also do a DIY MMU 2.0 clone and make all that myself too. So I'll probably start sourcing the parts again. Once I know this works, I'll source all the parts for that, order everything in, print all the parts out again using the Protopasta Candy Apple Red filament. I'll have all the printed parts ready to go, and then I'll also do a build on that. But again, I have everything in baggies ready to go. So this should be pretty straightforward, I hope. I'm going to get these out of the way. I know I need all these parts for this beginning stretch. Again, everything's here. I hadn't even opened some of these up. I actually had lost this these Y plates. After I moved, I thought I lost them. I thought they maybe got stuck in a box that didn't make it or something, but I just didn't look hard enough, and I did find them down in the bottom of one of my part boxes. So I was super relieved about that. Let me just get this open, and then we can start. Eventually, I will be putting out a Excel spreadsheet with everything that I bought online, so you can, if anybody wants to do this themselves, and even if you don't own a i3 Mark III yet, you can source every single part yourself. I am only using 2 original Prusa parts, which is the filament sensor and the Pinda probe. Both of those are actual Prusa parts. I bought them as spares in the beginning, but then I decided I was going to clone the printer, and I decided to go ahead and use those parts because the knockoff parts, per se, on like AliExpress and that, are really not that much cheaper than what Prusa sells them at. And he sells them for right around, I think it's like $15, and you can get clones for anywhere between $7 and $10. So I mean 50% the price, but those are pretty crucial parts. I did spend a little more on certain parts just to be sure that they would be adequate. So the power supply was a bit more expensive. The board had great reviews. It is a clone of the NZ board, but everyone who has bought one has had astounding reviews for it, and also people bought it to replace theirs in the Prusa when theirs had died and they were no longer warranty supported. They also had bought that one instead because it is half the price. So this has a little bit of residue on it. Just getting that off real quick. So there's all our 3030. I mean, and these are already tapped and ready to go. Like, I bought this kit good to go, which I was pretty excited about. Oh, printed solid carries the Pinda probe. That's good to know. So I don't have gummy bears, but I do have, I did keep these aside. So I do have gummy worms. So I'll have to do that. And then for Christmas, Santa and my sister were nice to me. I got a nice Weeha set. There's actually 2 different sets of some pretty high-end drivers. So those are what I'm going to be using. I'm not going to be using little Allen wrenches, anything like that. But I have this ready to go, and I printed a little stand for it. So I think it looks nice. And I guess that's it. So we're going to get started here. And the first, step 1 is introduction. If you've ever built any of the Prusa machines before, make sure you guys can see everything that's going on here, all right? So I am starting with part 2, and these are all of the parts needed for part 2. I already went through the guide. That was actually pretty time consuming, going through the guide and being sure that I had all the parts. And it looks like I am missing a part here. Shoot! I thought I had everything. well, we'll get through what I can tonight. This is not going to be a simple build as it was straight out of the box. It'll be close, but it is what it is. Riley, what's up, man? All right, so let's go back here to the top of step 2. And, all right, so we're doing this with the long part. So I just have to be sure that I put this on the right side. So because on the original one, it says Prusa up here, and mine doesn't, obviously. So I know that this is the correct size because this has more holes on the side for mounting of the enclosure. The only thing that's mounted on the right side of the printer is the power supply. Those are the only 2 holes there. So I know that is that side. And the long ones go in the front. So we flip this around. They go just like this. On the inside set, some filament sitting there. I need a driver. The powder coat on this is pretty tight. It's a little too tight, I think. Might have to just get out the screwdriver, a powered screwdriver, to get through some of these. But this is like one of the longest parts, is just assembling the frame. I think step 2, which is the first bulk step, aside from the extruder, is the longest part to get through in this build. The extruder is just time consuming because of getting all the parts to fit together properly. Yeah, I'm going to need a heftier screwdriver than these just because the powder coat is a little bit too tight on this. Now the frame, give you a little background while I'm doing this. The frame cost, this cost me $100 just for the frame. So that's for the 4 powder coated parts and the 4 pieces of 30-30 extrusion. You can get them on AliExpress. I think they didn't sell them before. So I bought this frame a year ago in hopes of doing this at my last place, but I never got around to doing it. It just became a little too involved there at the time. And I also wanted to get my Mark III first before I dove into doing this myself. I need my little toolbox, and I don't know where it is, because these are super duper tight to get in. Ah, where is it at? I mean, these are like really tight to get in, and it's really hurting my arm here. All right, give me 1 second. Let me look down here for it. But I do have this. And I do have these. Lost the audio there. Sorry there. Just grabbing my bit drivers. Not those ones. Not those ones. And this won't be it. All right. Where are my drivers? Nope, that's not it. I have a driver set around here somewhere and I can't find it now. So having an electric screwdriver doesn't help me at all. Man. All right, well, we'll get through it. I can probably read comments while this is happening, because this is going to take a hot minute to get this part here done. I might have to actually drill these out. Probably should have checked this first. Yeah, these are too tight. So I'm going to drill these out real quick. I have the electric screw gun. The problem is I don't know where my bits are. But yeah, the powder coating, I'm actually threading the powder coating. It's a little bit on here thick, so I might have that problem with the rest of the frame. Justin 3D, yes, I already flashed the board using Prusa control. It saw it as a Mark III because it doesn't care. The board doesn't carry any special bootloader or anything that like recognize it as a Mark III. They just have the NZ board as a Mark III, so you don't have to worry about their software. Just they see that board, it automatically says it's a Mark III. It flashed with absolutely no problem, so it's actually already ready to go. And with the update of I think 2 weeks ago is when I did that, so it's not too old. I think there's only one update. Let me get my drills here. Ooh. I'm climbing under the table because I have my microphone and it's just easier that way. But the board was at least one thing that I checked first. Oh, I can't use... I thought these were hex bits, but they're not. I am batting 1,000 right now. Man, I even thought I was ready for this. I don't know how loud this is going to be, so I'm going to just turn down my microphone real quick. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too loud, but so basically a 1364 stripped out, very little metal, but pretty much all the powder coating from those, and now they all slide in beautifully. So we were this way, I flip it here, so if I'm looking at the front, these go on here. Let's try this again. That's better. That's much better. Okay. Yeah, fighting those screws with this little driver, it's also not meant for that. But yeah, that was going to be tough. Really wish I knew where my drivers were though. So I do have Bond gear. I think they're made by a W something. Let's look back at my. Let's look at my order sheet. I have everything written down. I just have to put all the links in and things like that. But I'm using Clone Bondtech gears for this as well. So right here is gonna be a little bit of troubles. Okay, and then for this one, I remember doing this. I remember this was tiring when I did the actual build too. But I didn't have these nice screwdrivers though, so these do make it a little bit easier to do. It's just there's also so doggone many of these screws. Jose, hello from Brazil. Rocco, what's up? I did all the holes. I did that already. When I turned my mic down, I did all 16 holes real quick. I will have to turn the mic down one more time to do the plates. I didn't do the face plates yet, but at least to get the main frame here connected up, I did do that part. I don't need you right now because I don't know where the parts are. All right, so now we're going to put on the short pieces for the back. That goes there and there. Actually, I'll do it this way because I'm right-handed. So this makes it a little bit easier. The extrusion is tapped, but the tapping is not the best, I guess. Hello, subscriber. Got Italy here, we got Brazil here, we got America here. Got people from all over. This is nice. This way. Canada, Australia, man. Belgium, geez, there's all kinds of people here. It's also probably my biggest stream, I'd say. There are like 60 people almost now. It's not too shabby for a Saturday night. Waiting to see someone to say hello from Texas, just because Texans are jerks. Dadwan RC, yeah, you can get the frame now, but when I bought this a year ago, you could not get the frame. It was the same $100. Obviously, quality will vary. I was happy to get this from a guy actually in the UK. Is the one that milled this. He ran his sale off of eBay. It's where he did all his sales, and these are not. And that one's giving me a little bit of trouble there. Wondering if some of the tappings are not perfectly straight because they're a little bit tough to get in. This is killing my hand, so we're gonna bring out. Is this right size? Yeah, this is it here. Let's go Allen wrench just because these are getting tough on my hand. As I said, the frame so far seemed to be really nice, except the powder coat is a little bit thick. So I had to kind of drill that out. And again, I'll have to do that for all the holes eventually, but I'll do that when we get to that part. But since I know I did not cut all of the rods, I'm not going to get past part 2. But this part alone is going to take me probably an hour and a half to do. Again, I just know that from doing the actual build. And these being a little bit tight. See, that one went in like butter. Like, what's up with that? That went in totally easily. Some of these other ones are just tight. All right. Oh, maybe that one was just what was a little bit off. Yep, that one was a little bit crooked. So my completed Mark III from Prusa, I think the live build took 4.5 hours, and I was just dog tired. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. It was 4.5 to 5 hours to build, and then the very next night I came back and I did the first print live. So this will probably be a 2 or 3 nighter. Again, just because I was an idiot and didn't do the rods. So we're looking pretty good there so far. I'm going to... Okay, oh, that's good. I did buy some feet here. Prusa has those little twist-in ones, but I couldn't actually find those. So I bought these, are using T-nuts, and I'm going to go ahead and put these on now because they came with slide-in T-nuts and not twisted hammer ones. There we go. I just want to be sure I get these in there first. Come on. And I like the feet being on them, so this makes my life a little bit easier. Yeah, it was definitely, building that live was a lot of fun. I can definitely say that. A little nerve-wracking, as that was, I think it was my first like full live build. I'm trying to do more of them now, live streams, and all printers that I get now get unboxed and first printed live to kind of show a little bit more transparency on the videos, I guess. I think it's fun to kind of interact with people because, honestly, I've said it before, recording is super boring. Like, being a YouTuber is amazingly boring because you're by yourself. Well, I'm by myself right now. And talking to a camera to a bunch of strangers umpteen thousand miles away. So, there is that. Now, real quick, I'm going to mute down the microphone again, and I'm going to drill out these plates because these are going to probably, double check here. Yeah, they have the same clearance issue as the other ones did for the M5 bolt. So give me 1 minute here. Okay, I drilled out all the small holes for that as well. That way the plates are ready to go. Now we're going to go ahead and do the plates. And these don't matter what side is out. What side looks better though? About the same. So, yeah, that works. Guess that way you guys can kind of see what's going on, right? You see that? Yeah, you can see that. All right. No, that's the wrong driver. Some of these are a little bit tight. We got some feet on that CR10. I bet you it's a lot quieter now, JR. That's definitely a good thing to do. I need to, oh, you remind me, I need to publish those racquetball feet. I still have not done that. It's on one of my notes of a to-do lists, which are long and plentiful. But I have not gotten around to doing that yet. And several people have commented about that now. Hello, Neil. Stripped head on the belt holder on the rear. Oh, that sucks. Stripped heads are the worst. I did find, though, that putting a star head into the hex heads have really helped me get out anything that I've stripped in other printers. That's been kind of my saving grace, is just get like the closest size star bit, or torque head, I guess is what they're officially called. And that really helps get those out. This one's a little bit tight. All the other ones are pretty good. Here we go. Wonder if some of that powder coating got into the threads. I don't know if he powder coated before or after threading these. Oh, don't spam, Neil. Oh. That's as far as that one wants to go. You know what? I wonder if this one isn't tapped deep enough. So I'm going to grab a shorter M5 real quick to use for that one. Yeah, it's only one, so it's not a big deal. Oh man, watch my knees on all that metal. Hello. Where's my M5s at? It's too short. Oh, bingo, here we go. Get back over here. Oh, man, this small space is killing me. So it's just a 10 mil 16 M5 instead of a 16 mil, which is what all the rest of these are. And now the back plate. Which lines up just like so. And 15 or 8 more, I guess. And this one here. This is just so many screws to put these frames together. It is effective though, it's probably why he does it. I'm just glad it's not zip ties anymore. And there goes my screwdriver. Up to 69 people. Holy smokes. We're getting there. So for anybody new that came in, I'm going to get through the first part of this build because I forgot to cut the X and Y, I'm sorry, the X and Z smooth rods. I have the Y done, which is what I'll be installing tonight. But the X is too long and so is the Z. I have to cut those both down. It would not really be a big deal, but the Prusa first setup, it actually measures the steps it takes and it knows how many it goes across your X and your Y and your Z. And when it goes to measure that, if it's anything different than what it's supposed to be, you will fail calibration and you cannot continue. That's why those parts need to be exactly how they're supposed to be. Man. I really need to find that driver set. I will find that tomorrow during the day. We'll do the second stream will be tomorrow night. But tomorrow during the day, I will make it my one goal, aside from going to the grocery store, to find that driver set. Yeah, Worried for a second I was putting this on the wrong way. Don't do that. Stay there. The list will come out later. I do not have it ready yet. If I don't do that tomorrow during the day, it'll be done the following day. Again, this will take at least 2 nights to do, but you can always come back and check the description on the stream, on this video, once I publish it, and you can get the full part list and links in that spreadsheet. I mean, that one I'll try to do it hardware, electronics, tools that you're going to need, so that anybody can do that. And there we have the frame, ladies and gents. This one right here is still a little bit loose here. Let's torque a couple of these down a little bit more. Son of a gun! Ugh. Oh, Paul, you're right. Shoot. I didn't put those in here. But you know what? I have some drop-ins that I will use. Okay, yeah, I did forget this. I have some drop-in T-nuts that I can use on this, so I'm going to let that slide. But thank you for reminding me. I probably should. I've been looking at comments and stuff like that and not so much paying attention to what I'm doing. I just want to make sure these are all tight on here. I'll double check this side. Some of these just need the last little bit of torque down. Awesome. There we go. And there is our frame. Hot dog. All right, now we're doing the Y holders, which got to have all of these square nuts put in, but some of the bridging was a little bit tight. Yeah, these are tight. Tolerances on my machine are a little bit close. These were mostly printed on, I guess I shouldn't say mostly, about half was printed on the original i3 Mark III, the other half was printed on the G-Tech A10, which prints really nice once you tune it in. But I'm actually running custom firmware on that, and it actually is paired with Slicer Prusa Edition, which I got from a buddy. Okay, one down, 3 to go. This is the one thing I did not do, is I did not prep any of these 3D prints, which I, looking back now, probably should have. At least check these holes. But that's okay. Yeah, I gotta carve these out just a little bit more. Slight bit of sagging. The Prusa ones have this too, but it's less on theirs because they have like amazingly tuned profiles for all this. There we go. Just pushing those little suckers in there is hectic, and it's hot in here now. Come on. There we go. Whew, 2 down. So that one and that one are done. I have my little drill driver. Pirate screwdriver, I guess. What was the cost? Haven't added it up. That's why I need to finish my spreadsheet. The BOM. I'd probably say it's in the ballpark of 300. It's between 300 and 400. Now I definitely could have went cheaper. You know, I could have not bought the Clone Mark 43 bed or whatever it's called. I definitely could have gone a non-meanwhile power supply. But there is a seller that was selling the meanwells with the correct circuit board and wire harnessing for the power resume and the power sensing. So I spent the extra money and got that. I probably could have bought a power supply for under 30, but I ended up paying almost 60 for the particular one that I bought. There's 3 done. Last one. Sorry, this is a little tedious, guys. Just clearing out any of the little bit of sagginess that was in there. Which is what happens when you print a circle over midair with no support. Our square nuts here. Oh, man, come on. There we go. And where's the last one? There it is. I'm using an E3DV6 hot end. I'm actually going to be using a TH3D E3DV6. So it's not a genuine one, but doesn't need to be. So, okay, all those are in. All those are in. I have lined up all of the all the nuts are lined up here. So now we can go ahead and put these in place like that. And these are using the M3x10s, which are these ones. Which, this is it here? There's our first 3D printed part mounted. Beautiful. There's 3 more to do. And I did print, there recently was an adjustment part for the Mark III. I know they changed up from when I received mine. The electronics box had changed slightly. And there was another part, oh, it was for the Pinda probe. There's an adapter piece that goes in, and this one's a little tight. I did print that for this one. I need to go back and print that part for the for my original Mark III, because that also needs to be installed. It doesn't need to be, but it just prevents the Pinda probe from moving anywhere, or from it falling out, because that was a common complaint. This one is not lining up perfectly. I'll fix that in a minute. Alright, so this one right here, the one is not perfectly lined up, so I need to try and fix that. Is it going to be better than the original Mark III? No. I will be stoked if I get same results out of that, because that printer is by far the best thing that I own. It is quite the printer. Not going to lie about that. No, I do not have a complete part list for everybody yet. There will be one eventually. I have to finish doing all of my links and everything. And this little sucker is not lining up. Won't go in all the way. There it is. I think there it is. Whoop, there it is. Come on, you can't get any more lined up than that. Ah, come on. Come on. Oh man, that twisted in there. Holy heck. Alright. Still get it to work. There's that one, and then this last one here is the bugger. It is the buggery of all. One size down. This one would not have electronics in it, no. because, as I said, anybody new coming in, I did not cut down the X and Z rods yet. I forgot to do that apparently. So I will be doing that tomorrow. I will continue the stream tomorrow night. So it's just a little bit of a buggery in there. There we go. All right. So there we have the rods. Where are we at next here? Okay, the idler bearing is going on the front. So we have to sink in the nylocks. One. There's two. And then the third one. Third nylock goes on this side. Come on. Just had it. Come on. Ooh, there we go. Okay. Oh, no, it isn't in. I thought that was. When I tighten that down, that'll get in there then. Alright, so then we're doing the, what size screw is this? M3 by 18, which is this one right here. Goes in, the pulley goes in. Oh, that is not reaching. Interesting. Why is it not reaching? Oh, it's because there's a little bit of a thing up there. It's preventing that bolt from sitting and getting caught. Still preventing it. There's a little bit of a blip in the print there. Which is preventing my M3 nylock from going all the way in. So we can fix that real quick. I will pull it in using one of these smaller M3s. Which these all might still be too big. Whoop, where'd that go? Yeah, these I might have to get a smaller one real quick. It's just in order to get that nylock in there, it needs to really get in there. And it's not doing that at all. I'm also trying really hard not to break this print, because I'll be pretty angry if I do. Yeah, it's not going to reach. All right, let me grab a longer M3 real quick and fix this. Do-do-do-do-do. Okay, that's just bending it. That's not going to work. That is really not wanting to go in there, man. So we're going to find a tiny, tiny M3 somewhere in here. Well, it can't be too tiny, I guess. Still got to make that bend. Sorry guys, hang out for a minute. We'll get past this at some point. Trying to find the right length one in this giant bin. It's not an easy task. Come on. There's a little one. Not little enough. Alright, let's put the bearing back in and use that long one again. Maybe not one quite so long because that took forever to put through. This'll do. This'll do just fine. Come on. Oh, it's getting pulled in. There we go. A little bit more. Really hard not to break the part. Okay. That should do it. Come back over here now. Okay. All right. Now I got that sunk in there, I can use the right size instead of this enormous one. Sometimes things just don't go exactly as planned. Yeah, this one has all the parts. Everything looks to be, all the holes are there. It's just the powder coating is a little bit heavy on this one that I have, so I just have to pre-drill all the holes for the various screws and whatnot. Did I just push that bearing the wrong way? Some of the filament went in there though. She pulled some of the filament through. That's all right. Come on, get in there. Oh, look at that sweetness. All right, now that bit, and this is free rolling, just the way it should be. Okay, now we can go on to the next part here. Mounting this. I have the hole. There's got to be a little bit of give to it. That's using just the 10s. Can't remember why they said there had to be give to it right now, but a little bit of wiggle space on that. Okay, so that's done. Now we have the motor mount right here. And we're going to go ahead and grab a motor from the box. Whoop. These are just standard NEMA 17s. Let's see, these are, I think they're 1.8s or, not sure what they are. They do match whatever was needed. Can't remember now. Did I just lose my mic? No. Okay. So now we can get all of these pressed in. And then this is pressed in. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to use nylocks on this. Shoot. Come on out. Abort. There we go. All right, those are in now. Now we're going to go ahead and comes in this way. We're going to secure it with 2 10 mils. There we go. All right, so there's the motor bracket on there. Now we can go ahead and install it. So I go this way. This comes here. And then we're just going to use 2 M10s again to attach it. 1 and 2. Again, that's not pushed in all the way. So, I'm just going to pull it through with a longer one real quick. And there goes my screwdrivers. That's alright, we didn't need those anyways. Who needs screwdrivers? And this is the wrong bolt to use for the job because it has a neck on it. I don't know why some of these captive nut holes did not turn out as nice as I was hoping. Most of them did, but then there's a few every now and then that just want to be jerks. Okay, that should do it. There it is. Now we're grabbing. Ah, now we're cooking with Crisco. All right. Now the motor's mounted. So now we're going to prep the bed. So I'm probably going to need to drill these out. That works okay. That one's good. That one's good. And then I also have some M3s coming through on these ones here. That's good. That's good. Alright, so this is pretty good. It seems like just the frame was the problem, but the bed itself is in good condition. So let's break out the bearings. Alright, so this goes on like so. This doesn't have an up or a down, so I don't think it matters that much. This goes on like so. And then we put nylocks on. This is probably one of the worst parts. Is getting these nylocks down tight enough, but not too tight, so they can hold that bearing in and not squish it. Oh, this is hard. This is just annoying and time consuming. I kind of wish there was an easier way to do it. Not squishing it. At least now we're stable. All right. As soon as it reaches the surface, stop tightening. All right, so that's one done. We gotta do the other two now, right? Rinse and repeat for the other two. All right. Come on, this one is not going through for some reason. I just checked it. There it goes. All right. We're just going to be stubborn. All right. I understand. If you're going to be stubborn, might as well do it on a live stream, right? that one done. There's got to be a better way to make this work without a nut driver. Just has to be. Okay, 2 down. And where's lucky number 3? Bearing, U-bolt. Now, these. I might need to go into my things and get out some more nuts. I might be short a few on this step. I thought I counted everything right, but hey, people make mistakes. Just getting these on. Surface. The surface. Okay, there's all those. So that's the thing. My Y carriage is not threaded. So that's why it's that way. That's okay. So we're going this way, going this way. I will just go and grab some nylocks real quick and secure it that way. Because these are, it's not like I can thread it because they're too big. These M3s already slide through it. And the opening faces those, right? Yeah, faces those. Alright, let me get some, I might get some different M3s and some nylocks. So 1 second here. Where am I at? So M3s here. And 3 bolts there. Ooh, so this is the first mistake I found in the frame, aside from overcoating. But let's see if I can get some nylocks. Those are M4 nylocks. That's not going to work. There's an M3. A little bit short though. Okay, so I'm going to use some longer M3s on these. I think I have some 14mm ones sitting here. Those will be just long enough. They won't interfere with the bed because the bed has those standoffs, so I'm not too worried about that. But these 14 mils, those will do the trick. So again, of course it's using a smaller head, which it fell down here. I'm a klutz. There we go. Okay, so this again faces these bearings. Put those in. lock on without losing it. Come on, there we go. Okay. Come on. Okay, there's that printed part on there. Now we're going to get the rods, which again, these are the ones that I did cut. I had them labeled as well. Back on trash. These are going to go through those. Okay. And the double goes on the left side of the printer. And there's just sitting there like that. Hot dog. Oh, thanks, Riley. All right, now we need the zip ties, which are right here. And I'm actually using the zip ties from the Mark III build because he gives you a pack of 100. You only need maybe 20 or 30. So you have a ton left in this. All right, let's see if all these can go through the way they should. Oh, there's one. Okay. And yeah, they're all going to go in like this. So make sure all these go in nice and easy. I'll be super happy if they do. Yes. Okay, double check where that knot goes. So it's important where the zip tie thing goes on the inside of the frame there. That's apparently important. I know that was critical in the last one. They talked really a lot about the zip tie placement in the manual. Okay, and last one. Okay, now I need some flush cutters. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's the bed. These definitely need to be greased up a little bit. They're a little loud. Everything feels all right. Everything looks all right. Yeah, definitely need to grease those. But I do have some lithium grease for those for later. All right, so now I got to add on the pulley, which I apparently did not put in this bag. I think it was sitting in the box. Where's it at? Yep, there it is. So I have the pulley here ready to go. Slide this on. Like that. Tighten one on. Tighten two on. Okay, and there's the pulley. Now it's time for the belt, which is also down in here. Where did I put the belt at? Nope, that's for the pie. Hang on one second. I gotta find where I set the belt at. There it is. Okay. I know I put it in here somewhere. They really tape this, man. It's just stupid. Come on. Be careful, it comes untangled. I need to use it, dang it. Okay. So we're gonna flip this over like this. Like this. We're gonna feed it. Oh, come on, why don't you go in there? There we go. Okay. So that gets pressed into the 3D printed part like this. That is a nice and tight fit. I'll be going anywhere. All right, and then down through that, around and under, and we'll just cut myself a bunch of extra, because then I'll cut it off afterwards. I'm going to reinforce belts. Make sure I'm not getting tangled up here. So through here, around you, back under here, and into this slot. Go ahead and trim this down now. Okay, we're going to make sure the belt is straight. Sure it's going to get there. Now we can tighten this down just a little bit with this one. Whoops, that nylock just fell out. Clearly it wasn't grabbing onto that. Alright, let's push that back in. I know my head's in the way, I'm sorry. We're going to take that piece off again. Don't spill those. Wrong one. Where's the right one? There it is. I'm just going to pull these through real quick because they apparently did not seat properly when I was originally setting this piece up. Which, I mean, if you don't know, when you go to push these in, if they don't push in all the way, just use a shorter bolt to put through it. And if you crank it down, you will then pull your nut into the captive hole. And that won't go anywhere. Except it's nylock, and of course it's a pain to get out. Do the same on this one. Yeah, they're in there, but they're just not in. The hardware that Prusa uses is pretty exact. Like, it fits exactly where it's supposed to and nowhere else and in no other way. And that is cross-threaded a little bit. Come on, chain. Or, no, that's cross-threaded. Come on, get in there flat. Well, make sure you don't cross-thread anything, because then it's a bad day for everybody. Mainly you, but you know, hey. Nope, stay in there. Come on. I keep pushing it back out. Here we go, okay. All right. Whew. Probably should have double checked that earlier, but I'm impatient. Okay, so now we can reattach this. Now we're taut, and maybe actually a little bit too much. Definitely got to get these greased up. All right. There it is. There's the Y. Oh man, I've ignored comments for a little while now. Yeah, 3D print llama. Yeah, I do have an NZ board in this. It's a clone NZ board, which is half the price of an actual one, which is really nice. Oh man, I'm thirsty after that one. Where are we at now? Hey, Ron. This was purchased as every individual piece was purchased individually. This is the Clone Mark III. This is not the Mark III from Prusa himself. I just took his STLs and I went through the book guide and I picked out all the parts I needed to buy, and I picked out all the parts that I got off of my old G-Tech i3 aluminum. So yeah, it's a little bit rough just because of the bearings. I had debated on using Aegis bearings. Yeah, I definitely need to grease those up a little bit. So it's just this pulls a little bit to the side. I can probably push that in just a little bit more, but that little bit where the belt there doesn't matter too terribly much. It's just I have to push it into that slot just a smidgen more. But my original also has that little bit of give there. I don't know. My wife took I blame my wife, but I used it. I used my big flathead to get in there. I can't get in there this angle. Yeah, not with these. I just have to push these in a little bit more into that slot, and it's easier to do it with a flathead screwdriver. Oh, I have these ones here. Maybe this will work. Nope, that won't fit. Push these down in there more. I printed this in PLA, so the parts are super tight in comparison to the PETG prints that when you buy the kit from Prusa, that's how those are. Is they have a little bit of wiggle room because the PETG can flex some. The PLA, there's no flex. So that's pretty close right there. That's pretty close. Yeah, the camera angle is, if you look at my little screen, so the camera angle is like this. It is not straight down. So you're looking at from the angle. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, if I look at it that way, yeah, it's actually, it's right there. It's within spec. And it doesn't go push off anywhere. I might pull that back bearing in just a little bit more though. A little closer to the motor. Just for my comfort. I need this one here, right? Okay. Oh yeah, that doesn't move at all there. Okay, that's good. I like that. All right, let's see how much more we can get done before. I can get more done. Oh, maybe I can't. Yeah, I can't do this. I guess I could do it right now. Yeah, I'm not going to get very far on that. Yeah, so because I don't have those X bars printed yet, or cut, the smooth rods, I can't really continue a whole heck of a lot more. I mean, I could prep the next pieces, but that's not really going to help me at all in the long run. I could prep those tomorrow during the day if I really wanted to. But I have to, I just got a Dremel for Christmas too. I have an old Craftsman Dremel, but I got an actual super nice Dremel this year for Christmas. So I'm going to cut that tomorrow, and then I'll come back tomorrow as long as the cutting wheel is okay, because I kind of stepped on it when I put it on the ground like an idiot. So I think we're going to just do that today. That was pretty long. It was an hour and a half, or just shy of an hour and a half, just to do the Y part. Again, this is the second longest portion of the build. The longest portion is the extruder itself. It's a lot of small parts. Things have to be carefully aligned. Electronics are involved when you start putting that together. So that one does take a lot longer. And again, I will get these greased up so that they are nice and smooth. So that is where we're going to call it tonight. I'm sorry I could not do more of this, but I will also verify that all of these holes are good to go for the rest, which it seems like they are. It was just the M5s were a little bit too tight with the powder coating, but the rest of these seem to be good. Yep, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, and if you got, I'll hang out a few more minutes. If anybody wants to, while I clean this up, anyone's asking last minute questions, I will take those questions now. If you're looking for a BOM list, to be honest, I went through the Prusa Mark III guide step by step and wrote down all the things that I needed, how many M3s, M4s, M5s, what size of each ones I needed, what the bed spacers were, what board they were using, the cables needed, the motors needed. I checked all that stuff out over probably a good 4 hours of writing down and going through all that. Then I went online and started ordering all the parts. Took me about 6 months to order all the parts because it was a big investment up front, and also waiting for everything to come in because things from China take 30 to 45 days to get to me. So I have to factor in all of that time. I mean, just last week, the last few pieces came in for this build, like literally just last week. That's why I'm starting right now. But in that time, I probably should have paid a little more attention and finished prepping the parts that I needed, as I did not prep that properly. Oh man. This goes here, this goes here. Big one. I really like this set. This is super nice. This is the 3mm? Yeah, 3mm. But that's a Weeha set right there. 2 sets actually. Drivers and then the precision Phillips and flatheads. Total of what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 pieces. And this little stand was on Thingiverse for 15 pieces. That was not bad, little set. I mean, all of this right here was almost was over $50. Just for these, like over 50 bucks. So they are very expensive. So if you want to purchase the actual kit from Prusa, it's prusaresearch.com, something like that. You can buy the Prusa i3 Mark III kit. It's like $7.99 or $6.99, something like that. Yeah, it was $7.99 for the kit and like $1,000 for it built. This is all parts that I sourced on my own. This is a clone of the Prusa i3 Mark III, and I purchased all the parts on my own. I printed all the parts on my own, paid for everything individually on my own, doing this just to see if I could do it and what is the total cost to me, which I will try to do my best either tonight, because it's still early. Tonight I will start the spreadsheet, or I'll finish that up tomorrow and try and have that down in the video description for you guys on the breakdown of cost and links where you can buy everything. So if you want to purchase these parts yourself, you can absolutely do that. This will have the exact same build volume because it has the exact same dimensions. The printed bed, the bed is a clone of the MK3 bed that they're using, and the height is exactly the same height. So it's whatever that, what, 220 by 200 by 200, I think is what the original is. Yep, 3D, you just heard what I just said about the whole part list, things like that. I think roughly I'm right around the 300 to 350 range, roughly. Certain things were expensive. The board was $75. The heated bed was $50 or 60. The power supply was $60. The frame was $100. So right there, it's what, $250 in. Everything else is pretty cheap. You can get a E3D clone for pretty cheap. I got a little bit better fans, some, I think, Datatrons. Whatever they were replacements for, because you can't buy the Noctua's 5 volts yourself. So they are replacements for that. That was highly recommended in the i3 Mark III Facebook group. Motors I had gotten from my old printer. Belts are stupid cheap. The rods are all from my old printer. The only ones that were the proper size were the Y. The X and the Z are all too long, so I have to cut those down to the proper length. Yeah, so I'm right around 350 because I think that, like I said, those 4 things are the bulk of the money. Everything else is pretty cheap. Nuts, bolts are all fairly cheap. The 3D printed parts, I'm using Protopasta as they sent it to me for this this build. That's the most expensive, as it was $60 for the kilogram that they sent. I did use 1 roll. I had a few failures, so I had to dip into the second roll just a little bit. But I have enough on that second roll left that I can use it to print the MMU 2.0 clone that I'm also going to build at a later date. MK52, sorry, thank you for that. Thanks, 3D. Appreciate that. So earlier, some from Pet Prince said, do you have any qualms with clones? Some YouTubers have strong... A clone is a clone. It's an open source printer. Of course people are going to clone it. That's the whole thing with open source. And I don't even know if you can properly say it's a clone per se, as it is a build using the same schematics as the open source version. Cloning something is, I would say, actually cloning something that's closed source. Like if somebody cloned the Ultimaker. The Ultimaker printer is closed source. Their slicer Cura is open source. there's a difference there. If someone actually cloned the Ultimaker and called it an Ultimaker clone, that is direct violation, and all things go into that. But using open source documentation to make something, I don't really think as a clone is, there's no negative connotations in my opinion. E3D's hot end is open source. Of course people are going to make copies of it because it's open source. They give out all the schematics. Of course people are going to make it because it's a good hot end. Whether those clones are any good or different story, the only thing that really matters to me is the throat. As long as you have a well-machined throat, what hot end you use, whether you're using a legit or a copy, does not matter. It's all about the throat. So I actually have bought E3D throats, put them into clones because they're better. Also, TH3D has a very good throat that I've thrown into several different hot ends, and it works out great as well. I'm getting pinged by... Is it my wife? It is not. And, okay, what else here? Yes, that usually works, but I kind of don't want to do that with Nylox, and I also don't want to break out the soldering iron. It's kind of just a pain. It's just the quality of my 3D printed parts it's not absolutely perfect, so getting those seated in is a little bit harder. But once I just went ahead and put the screw through just the printed part and pulled it in, it sat in just fine. So that was just kind of what I had to do. John, what's up, man? I don't think I missed anything else here. I think that's going to be it then. I'll take maybe like one more question and then I'm going to call it a night. I'll start getting ready for tomorrow. I'll make sure I cut those rods tomorrow. I have them measured and I have them sitting out there in the hallway. I just have to get the Dremel and take it outside and do the cutting. I have to find my vise too. That's going to be the other hard part, is finding the vise. I guess I could always clamp it to something. Hey John, I'm doing all right. With a frame piece from board using, I'm going to be using an NZ clone. It's from Fugatech, I think it is. It's on AliExpress. If you just search like NZ 1.0 mini on there, that pops up. Game very highly recommended. Also in the i3 Mark III Facebook group. And the frame is from a guy in the UK who no longer makes the frame. Excuse me. But you can get the frame on AliExpress for right around $100. It is the single most expensive part of this build. That is why Tom made it out of particle board, he made it out of press board, because that was super duper cheap. I'm not going the cheapest route for this as Tom did in his videos. I'm going for as exactly the same as I can, but a little bit cheaper. That's why I'm using clone parts instead of original parts, as to bring down my cost. Because if I want original parts, I'll just buy the kit from Prusa. I want to do it myself, but a little bit cheaper, but I don't want to go so cheap as I'm using wood frame and all that kind of crap. I'm not doing a Rambo board. I don't feel like wiring up 2130s on myself. I'd rather them be built in, which is what the NZ board has. Am I using couplers with your Z steppers? No, I am using integrated Zs exactly the same as on the original i3 Mark III. Am I using MMU? No, I do not. I did not receive my original MMU yet. I am still waiting for that to ship. Apparently there was a back order on some part for the MMU, so they have put that on hold yet again. I'm hoping to get my shipment. I'm hoping to get shipping email soon. I don't know. I'm going to bug Shane from Prusa again and see if he can help me out on that. And I will be making eventually an MMU 2.0 clone for this machine. Once I get this built and running and I'm happy with it, I will then venture down that lane. But again, that's another investment. I think that's right around $100 in hardware to build yourself. Maybe a little less, as I think I have the steppers. It's just going to be all of the gears and everything that you need inside of there is what's going to be the most costly. Yeah, FISEC, that's it. So John, a lot of the parts on this are coming off of my Gtech i3 Mark III aluminum, the very first printer that I bought over 2.5 years ago. And I've upgraded that until the point of I couldn't upgrade it anymore. And it was giving me issues. I've upgraded the board. I just said, you know what? It's time to do this project, this is what I really wanted to do with it. And again, so far, I'm pretty happy with this. It's a good, nice frame. Everything seems to be nice and square. I'll do a double check over on the tile. I have foam down on my floor now, and it's also covered in shavings from me drilling this out. So I need to sweep all that up. The NZ board comes with 2130s built into it, so I'll be using the TMC 2130s as they are integrated. Yeah, John, you could do that. Again, I went full i3 Mark III. It does require a little bit more money to do that, but it was worth it to me. I think you also, another way people told me you could do is you could buy the Prusa i3 Mark III upgrade kit instead, which is only like $300. So that gives you the frame and a lot of the other bits that were not included because they did a total frame change from the Mark IIs or the Mark II variants to the Mark III variants. So that is an option for you as well, but I think that's a little more expensive to do that way. So Tech Dad, I did the exact same questioning myself. I figured I might as well go with the latest and greatest. That way you have it. I will tell you this, you will not be disappointed with the Mark III in any way, shape, or form. I'll give you a couple advices though. If you're going to buy it, buy both the powder-coated heated bed and the PEI heated bed at the same time. That way they ship together, and if there's any delays, and the shipping's included, so do that. I would also buy a pin to probe and a filament sensor extra with it. It's an extra 30 bucks to buy them both, or a little less than that. But again, there's no shipping involved because it goes in the box with the Mark III. Absolutely worth it. It is by far the best printer I have. It was an awesome build to make, but I mean, it's great. Again, my Tiva Tornado does great. The A10 does really good. The Anycubic i3 Mega does really good. This kind of blows out of the water, and the flex plate actually is really nice. I have a Fugatech flex plate here with a future project still sitting on it. I'm waiting to do the B-roll of me peeling this off just to kind of show that off. But the things that you can do with this printer, it's nice. I'd definitely say buy the Mark III. Upgrade kit is $500. Ooh, that's a little bit more. Yeah, I wouldn't do that then. Damn you on Twitter. I can do that when I'm done, Ben. So I'm going to call it there, guys. Thank you all for the questions. Thanks for hanging out a little bit after this. I'm sorry I couldn't do more on this. I will be better prepared tomorrow. I'll find my driver kit in case I need to do any driving. I will cut those rods down, and I will maybe double check some of the printed parts if I have time. We'll see how that ends up going. So what was this last one? Real quick, what steppers would I upgrade from A4988s? I would go to TMC 2208s. They are a direct drop-in replacement. You drop them in opposite directions. You have to reverse your motor direction and tune them to 1.2 VREF. And make sure they are cooled. So put a big heat sink on them and a fan if you can. That will silence your printer by 50% and it will run smoother and better. So 2208s. That's the last one. All right. Thank you for hanging out, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow night for the continuation of this build. So check back then. Happy printing and good night.